The sound came softly, a single electronic chime that echoed through the stillness of my apartment. It was Tuesday morning, the kind of morning that feels safe in its simplicity. The sun was warm but gentle, filtering through half-open blinds and landing across the wooden floor in narrow golden stripes. The air smelled faintly of roasted coffee and rain from the night before. Everything felt ordinary, predictable. Until that sound. A single email. That's all it took to rewrite everything I thought I understood about my life. I remember sitting at my kitchen table, the surface cool beneath my arms. My laptop screen glowed in that pale blue light that makes everything around it look distant, almost unreal. The subject line read, "Company Update." I clicked, and then in less than 10 seconds came the words that drained the color from my face. Due to restructuring, your position has been terminated effective immediately. I didn't blink. I couldn't. The words just floated there on the screen, cold, still, merciless. For a moment, the world around me faded into silence. Even the hum of the refrigerator, the ticking of the clock, the whisper of the window outside the window, everything paused, as if creation itself was holding its breath. 8 years. 8 years of showing up early, staying late, believing that hard work would build a safety net strong enough to hold me. And now, with one short paragraph, that net was gone. I tried to swallow, but my throat felt tight. My chest ached in that slow, heavy way that grief does when it's too new to understand. I opened my banking app. My fingers trembled. Enough for maybe 2 months of bills, maybe less. The sunlight that had looked peaceful minutes earlier now felt harsh, exposing. I got up, pacing slowly across the room, my bare feet brushing against the cool tiles. My breath was uneven. I whispered, half to myself, half to heaven. God, what am I supposed to do now? No voice, no answer. Just the sound of my own heartbeat echoing inside that quiet room. That night, I sat in darkness. Only the faint blue light of my laptop illuminated the space. It reflected in my coffee mug, casting soft ripples of light on the wall. My phone buzzed. Another email. A bill this time. I closed it without reading. I couldn't take more bad news. God, I've been faithful. Why would you let this happen? Tears came, slow at first, then all at once. The kind of tears that don't just fall, they pour out, of years of trying to hold everything together. But even in that heaviness, I felt something subtle. A shift, not around me, but inside me. It was as if God wasn't saying anything new, but reminding me that his silence wasn't absence. It was invitation. Over the next days, I did what most people do when life breaks. I tried to fix it. I sent job applications, updated my resume, reached out to contacts who suddenly stopped replying. Each rejection felt like another tiny heartbreak. Then one afternoon, exhausted, I sat on the floor beside my couch with my Bible in my lap. My hands brushed the thin pages, and my eyes fell on a verse I'd once highlighted. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. I read it aloud. My voice cracked in the stillness, and I finally exhaled, a deep, shaking exhale that felt like surrender. Maybe I had built my life around plans instead of trust. Maybe God was asking me to stop chasing stability and start seeking him. In the days that followed, I began to slow down. I noticed things I had ignored for years, the way the light danced on my kitchen counter in the mornings, the smell of rain-soaked earth after a storm, the sound of children laughing outside. Every small detail felt like a quiet whisper from God. I'm still here. I started waking early, wrapping myself in a blanket and sitting near the window with coffee in hand. I'd listen, not for an answer, but for presence. There's a kind of peace that only grows in silence. It doesn't fix the storm, It anchors you in the middle of it. About 6 weeks later, another email came. I froze when I heard the notification. My stomach tightened, the memory of that first email still fresh. But this time the subject line was different. New opportunity. It was from a small faith-based nonprofit. I'd volunteered for them years earlier. They were launching a digital outreach program and needed someone who could help with media and storytelling. The salary was modest, but the work had meaning. As I read through their message, tears filled my eyes again, but not the kind of tears that come from pain. These were warm, grateful, almost holy. It wasn't about the job. It was about the timing. God had not been ignoring me. He had been preparing me. I thought the email that broke my heart had ended my story, but it only ended the chapter where I thought I was the author. Now when I look back, I realized that losing my job wasn't the day everything fell apart. It was the day everything began to make sense. If this message is reaching you right now, maybe you're holding your own version of that email, the one that broke your heart. Maybe it wasn't words on a screen, but a phone call, a diagnosis, or someone's goodbye. Whatever it was, know this: heartbreak is not the end. It's the holy ground where God begins to rebuild. Sit with Him there. Let silence become your sanctuary. Because sometimes what feels like loss is really the sound of God rearranging your life for something better. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to subscribe and stay with us. Every day we share stories of faith, purpose, and divine wisdom from Proverbs, stories that remind your heart that God's timing is never late. And if this one spoke to you, leave a blue heart in the comments to let us know you're still trusting Him, even in the silence. You just spent 8 minutes for God. 8 minutes to grow in wisdom, faith, and peace. See you tomorrow. Verse for your meditation. Proverbs 16:9. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps.